Our good friend Stephen Ruiz is back with his yearly quarterback rankings. And last year, it was a lot of fun considering he had Brock Purdy kind of at the back end in the 20s of his ranking and refused to bump him up for the entirety of the season. He even went as far as going on a podcast to say if Brock Purdy won the Super Bowl, he would never cover the NFL again. Unfortunately, the 49ers were one overtime quarter away from that being the case. But we're going to dive into his current quarterback rankings and take a look where Brock Purdy is ranked. And honestly, not surprised at all where he is. But as you guys know, the NFL kicks off today, which is fantastic news. We got football back. And what better way to get into the action than with my bookie? My bookie is a phenomenal partner of the channel, and they have a awesome offer that I get to extend to you. That if you use my code SF9ers, you will get up to 100% match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip when you use my bookie. They have been one of the top, if not the best betting services over the last 10 years. And you have the opportunity to tap in with them. Link in the description. Also, you have a chance to win a pair of free tickets to Jets versus 49ers. I will also link that in the description below as well. But let's get into this guy who says if Purdy finishes the season in the top 10, you can do the rankings next year. Well, Purdy did finish that season in the top 10, and my invitation got lost in the mail for the quarterback rankings, but that's fine. We'll worry about that another time. Let's take a look at these rankings and see where Mr. Purdy is currently slotted. So we'll kind of go through it from top to bottom. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, number one, not a shock there. Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP. I'm fine with it. With him being at number two. Josh Allen being at number three. Fine with that as well. Justin Herbert being number four. I mean, yes, Justin Herbert has all the talent in the world, but unfortunately, it just hasn't come to fruition yet. So might be a little rich, but I understand it at least somewhat. Matthew Stafford at five. Okay. Dak Prescott at six. Oof, that's a tough one. Joe Burrow at seven. You have Trevor Lawrence at eight. You have Aaron Rodgers at number nine. And as you can see, we round out the top 10 with Geno Smith. Yes, Geno Smith. No Brock Purdy. Geno Smith, the guy whose EPA per play is 17th, success rate 8th, CPOE 9th. Fantastic. Let's put him at 10. CJ Stroud at 11. Jordan Love at 12. I don't even understand how Geno Smith is above those two guys. Doesn't make sense to me. Kyler Murray at 13. Oh, where's Brock? Oh, Jared Goff at 14. Kirko Chains at number 15. And oh, wow, this is actually pretty impressive. Oh, don't mind that he's first in all these categories. But in regards to Brock Purdy being ranked number 16th, this is actually a huge jump up from last year because I don't even know if Brock Purdy made it out of the 20s for the entirety of the season in Stephen Ruiz's rankings. So again, it's like, what is the standard here? What is it? Does winning games not matter? Does being able to master Kyle Shanahan's scheme not matter? Does being able to come back after a Tommy John effectively surgery to fix a torn UCL and be able to be back on the field in 2.5 months, does that not matter? Does I these rankings are exactly this. It's almost like rage bait at this particular point, especially when it comes to Brock Purdy. And as you continue down, you see Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Derek Carr, Caleb Williams. I honestly think that I believe Caleb Williams was ranked higher than Brock Purdy was last year, and Caleb wasn't even in the NFL yet. Also, Tom Brady was ranked higher than Brock Purdy, and he was retired. So, just to give you an idea of how Stephen Ruiz goes about his rankings, um, you can tell he puts a lot of effort into them, but in some sense, they're kind of unserious at a certain point. But as you can see, Brock Purdy at number 16, guys. I remember when I did my ranking and I put Brock Purdy at five, which I felt was, generous. I definitely believe he's top 10. I put him at 5, and I had fans calling me not a real fan, calling me a Brock hater, and things of that nature for putting him at number 5. So I'm curious to know how you guys feel about Brock Purdy being at number 16. Does that change anything for you? What are your thoughts on Brock Purdy being ranked behind Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford? I don't know. It's again, it's funny. I feel like at this point it's got to be somewhat of a bit to continue to keep him ranked that low, because I think you can't take away Brock Purdy's success and how he's won. And you look at what he did in the playoffs, beating Jordan Love, beating Jared Goff, going toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes. Listen, I get it. He's never going to be Superman. He's never going to be those guys, but he's Batman. And we've made this analogy a million times. There are many ways that you can win. And again, there's many different factors that make you a good quarterback. And one of the things that makes Brock Purdy an elite level quarterback is his intangible qualities. And unfortunately, you have a ton of players in the league who are supremely talented, more talented than Brock Purdy, better arm, better size, faster, everything. But they don't have the intangible quality that it takes to be a quarterback. Being a quarterback is much more than just having a big arm, being laser accurate. Yes, that all matters. But if you can't read a defense, then what does it mean? If you get scared anytime a defensive lineman gets within 5 feet of you and you get the yips, then what does it matter that you can do all these things? Like, you have to be able to be tough as nails. You have to be a quality leader. You have to there's so many other things that come along with being a quarterback. And it just feels like the things that make Brock Purdy great are conveniently omitted when it comes to comparing against others. And listen, I get it. I get if you're on the outside and you are hesitant to crown Brock Purdy. I'm fine with that. I understand that thought process. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But at a certain point, if you're watching the tape, you're watching how he performs, you're watching how he executes, you watch how he plays outside of structure, you watch how he throws layered throws, and all of this while coming off a major surgery to his throwing elbow, which again, just people don't talk about the serious nature of that and how much it impacted him to the point where he was still rehabbing until halfway through the season. It just blows my mind. But again, we understand what it is, gets people like me talking about it and having fun, bringing light to the rankings and all those different types of things. But again, it feels in disingenuine to put him at 16, to be honest, considering the success that he's had. And again, the argument is the success is happening because of Kyle Shanahan, because of Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel and George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. And it's like, okay, yes, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo find some level of success with the 49ers. But Brock Purdy in his very first game proved he was already better than Jimmy Garoppolo. The reason why you've seen Brandon Ayuk get paid the way he got paid was in large part due to Brock Purdy, getting him the ball, allowing him to be one of the most efficient wide receivers in the NFL by turning 75 catches into nearly 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. Brock Purdy has a lot to do with that. Yes, of course, everything else has a lot to do with it too. It's a team sport. So how do you hold a team sport against an individual? Just doesn't make sense, but it makes for a great conversation. Makes for great debate. So what do you think? Where do you think Brock Purdy should be ranked? I want to hear from you in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.